Have you ever laid out what you thought was a perfect logical argument only to watch it just fizzle out? It is one of the most frustrating things, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden machinery of persuasion to figure out why that happens, and more importantly, how to actually build an argument that works.
You know that feeling, don't you? I mean, you've got all your facts lined up, your reasoning is totally sound, but the person you're talking to just isn't buying it. It's maddening. It almost feels like you're speaking a completely different language. And, as it turns out, in a way, you kinda are.
Okay, so let's take a super simple example. We shouldn't elect Joe as committee chair because he is too bossy. Now, on the surface, this seems pretty straightforward. You've got a claim, don't elect Joe, and you've got a reason. He's bossy. So why on earth would this fail to persuade someone? The answer is hiding in plain sight.
That statement we just saw about Joe, that's what's known as an enthymeme. Don't worry about the fancy word. All it means is it's the part of the argument you can actually see and hear. It's the simple formula of a claim plus a reason, usually connected with the word because.
So if we break it down, it's pretty easy. The claim is what you want your audience to do or believe. We shouldn't elect Joe. Simple enough. And the reason is your justification for it, because he is too bossy. But here is where it gets really interesting. This visible part of the argument, it's not even the most important part. The best way to think about this is like an iceberg. The claim and the reason, the stuff you say out loud, that's just the tiny tip of the iceberg sticking out of the water. It's what everybody focuses on, but it's not where the real power, the real weight of the argument is hiding.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the part we say is just the tip, what is that huge, invisible chunk of ice underneath the surface that can actually sink our entire point before we even get started?
Well, that hidden part is called the warrant. The warrant is the unstated belief, the unspoken assumption that connects your reason to your claim. It's the invisible bridge. And listen, this is the most important part. If your audience doesn't already accept your warrant, your argument is completely dead in the water.
And this is where it all clicks. See, when we say, don't elect Joe because he's bossy, we are secretly assuming that our listener already believes bossy people make bad committee chairs. We never say it out loud, but our entire argument is balancing on that one unspoken idea.
And this is exactly where good arguments go to die. Because what if your audience is thinking, you know what, this committee is a total mess. We need a bossy leader to come in here and get things done. All of a sudden, your reason he's bossy becomes a point in favor of Joe. Your entire argument just flipped upside down and sank. All right, so now that we know about this fatal flaw, how do we fix it? How do we build arguments that are basically bulletproof? Well, you have to support not just the visible parts, but that invisible foundation too. You've got to reinforce the entire iceberg. First off, you need what's called grounds. This is your proof. It's the hard evidence that supports your stated reason. So, if you say Joe is bossy, you gotta prove it. You need to provide examples, maybe point to specific meetings where he dominated the discussion. That's your grounds. Next, and this is the step that almost everybody misses, you need backing. Backing is the evidence that supports your unstated warrant. You have to justify that hidden assumption. Why exactly do bossy people make bad chairs? Here, you'd explain how that leadership style stifles new ideas and hurts teamwork. So let's look at the full picture now. We've got our claim, don't elect Joe. Our reason, he's bossy. We bring in our grounds to prove he's bossy, then we expose the hidden warrant that bossy people are bad chairs, and we support that with backing. Now we have a seriously solid argument. Okay, so building a strong argument is one thing, but a real debate is a two-way street. The cool thing is, understanding this structure doesn't just help you build your case, it shows you exactly where an opponent is going to attack it. These weak spots or potential attacks are called conditions of rebuttal. To be truly persuasive, you have to get inside your opponent's head and anticipate these objections before they even say them. It's like playing chess.
And really, there are only two main ways to attack an argument. First, you can go after the evidence. You attack the reason and the grounds by saying, your facts are wrong. Joe isn't bossy, and here's my proof. Or, and this is often more powerful, you attack the underlying belief, the warrant. Okay, fine, he's bossy. But you're wrong that bossiness is a bad thing here. You can see it clearly here, side by side. On the evidence front, you might have examples of Joe dominating, but the rebuttal is testimony that he's actually a great collaborator. And on the belief front, your whole argument rests on the warrant that bossy is bad, but the rebuttal completely flips that and says, no, sometimes bossy is good. Your argument has to be ready to fight on both of these fronts. And this brings us to the most crucial point of all. Powerful persuasion, it's rarely about who has more facts or better data. It's about whose argument connects with the core beliefs of the audience. Which leads us to the real secret weapon of persuasion.
The most persuasive arguments ever made use what we call audience-based reasons. This is a huge shift in thinking. It means you don't start with what you believe, you start with what your audience already believes. You find a warrant they already agree with, and you build your argument on top of that common ground.
This quote just nails it perfectly. There is no such thing as a universally persuasive argument. It just doesn't exist. There are only arguments that are persuasive to a specific person or a specific group, because they tap into that group's existing worldview.
Check out this perfect example. Imagine trying to convince a group of environmentalists to support a new dam. The argument on the left, the writer-based one, is a total non-starter. Its hidden warrant is that industrial growth is good, something that audience probably rejects. But look at the argument on the right. It starts from a value they already hold dear, that the least environmental harm is the best choice. Now that argument has a fighting chance, because it's built on their warrant, not yours.
And that really is the secret, isn't it? Persuasion isn't about being right and bludgeoning someone with facts. It's about building a bridge from your idea over to their existing world of beliefs. And that invisible warrant? That's the foundation holding the entire bridge up.
So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you're building an argument, or you're listening to one from a politician or a friend or an advertisement, what are you going to look for? Are you going to focus just on the stated reasons, that tiny tip of the iceberg? Or are you going to start looking for those massive, hidden beliefs that are really doing all the work?